let's take a look at the starting grid for the 14th race of the 1992 campaign. 29 drivers are set to go in the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250. On the pole, Jeff Gordon. He broke the old record set by Dale Earnhardt back in 1988 to grab the #1 spot. The veteran from Hickory, North Carolina, Tommy Houston, outside row 1. Jimmy Spencer, his last win came here in 1989. He goes 3rd. And beside him, 2nd place at Dover, Jeff Burton. Inside row 3, Chuck Bound, the defending winner. Beside him, the man searching for win 1 in 1992, Steve Grissom. Todd Bodine, the Hungry Jack Chevrolet. And outside 4, Ricky Craven, the defending Busch North champion. Bobby Labonte goes 9th. Flanking him in row 5, the man to beat this afternoon, Robert Presley. Bobby Dotter inside row 6, and in the 12th starting spot, current point leader Kenny Wallace. Joe Nemechek goes 13th. 14th, Hal Goodson. Tracy Leslie goes inside of row number 8. Beside him from Owensboro, Kentucky, Jeff Green. Butch Miller inside row 9. Beside him from South Boston, Virginia, Ward Burton. Tom Peck out of McConnellsburg, Pennsylvania, goes 19th. And the veteran from North Carolina, John Linville, parked right beside him. Jack Sprague, driving for Jack Ingram, goes next on the grid. Beside him, the 4th all-time winner on the series, Tommy Ellis. Eddie Goodson, inside row 12. Beside him, Mike Porter of West Virginia. Jason Keller, inside row 13, 25th spot. Richard Lassiter, driving for Sam Ard. Beside him, the coach, Jerry Glanville. Mark Whitaker, outside of row 14, and rounding out the field will be Robert Powell, one of the hometown favorites here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. This afternoon, Kenny Wallace will have our Dirt Devil in-car camera. There you see a view there as we're on the pace lap. Kenny Wallace, the current point leader. And there's the bumper cam. Don't want to see anybody getting up a little too close right there. Chuck Bound has our Armor All in-car camera today, and Chuck Bound fading to the back of the pack. He missed the driver's meeting. His luck continues to be nothing but bad.
Well, it was a terrible thing. They found that the car might have been tampered with before the race started, and he was working to fix the car, and he missed the driver's meeting.
So a tough break for Chuck Bound. He had qualified again inside of row 3 in the 5th spot. He will now fade back and start this race dead last in the 29th starting position. The 1-lap sign has gone out. We're getting set to go back to green. Temperature 93 degrees, the humidity 78%. The winds are calm, and the forecast calls for partly cloudy skies. Might be a chance of a thunderstorm, which is always the case late afternoons here at this time of the year. The length of this racetrack, just a tick over a half mile. The banking 13 degrees, the front stretch 825 feet, little bit of a D shape, and the back stretch straight as an arrow, 800 feet here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. We're getting set to go to green. Jeff Gordon on the front row. Tommy Houston flanks him. Gordon has already won 2 races this year. He won both of those events from the pole position. We'll see if history repeats itself this afternoon. Pace car is off the racetrack. We're getting set for green in the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250. Green flags out. A good jump by Jeff Gordon. And following in behind him, it's Jimmy Spencer as the pack now heads for the first time out of turn 2 and down the back straightaway. Gordon, if he leads to the start-finish line this time, will have led 8 of the 14 or 15 races rather so far this season. He's led more laps than anybody else. He stays right out front.
You know, Tommy Ellis was on the starting line, and he was pushed behind the wall. He's lost the motor, so he did not start the race.
Tough break for Tommy Ellis. This was only his 4th start of the 1992 campaign. As Jeff Gordon starts to creep away just a bit from second place man Jimmy Spencer. He's in car number 20. Car 6 there, that is Tommy Houston. Jeff Gordon, the 20-year-old out of Pittsboro, Indiana. Set the racing world on its ear this year. Robert Presley, the hottest man in Busch Grand National Series racing, now battling with Bobby Labonte in car 44. Saw a little something come flying off one of those cars. Presley now clearly the advantage over Bobby Labonte. Just ahead, Ricky Craven in car number 99.
And you see these cars out there running right now. They're just filling the cars out, and if they need any adjustments, they'll do it when they make their pit stops. But right now, they're getting the cars out, and they say, well, we're a little tight, but I think the racetrack's going to come to us. It's more of a strength thing now.
Good battle for second spot. Tommy Houston trying to pressure Jimmy Spencer, but there you see the cranberry and yellow car. That is Steve Grissom. Houston goes underneath Spencer. There's Steve Grissom in car 31 following him into the third spot. That drop takes Spencer back to fourth. There's trouble in turn two. We saw it fading away from the bumper cam. We see now 3-4 cars involved. Mike Porter back there along with Mark Whitaker. It looks like also Jerry Glanville involved in that accident along with Jason Keller. So a 4-car pileup in turn two brings out our first caution flag of the afternoon. See Whitaker's car pulling away, but a lot of damage to the Jerry Glanville car. Glanville making his second start in Busch Grand National Series racing. Let's take a look at a replay.
Okay, that's Lassiter. He's behind the real action there. Glanville got clipped.
Mike Porter, it looked, got spun a little bit, and Jason Keller caught him. And then here's Jerry Glanville looking for an escape route.
Uh-oh, look where he...
Ouch. wrong route.
Flat tracks, you don't go to the top side. You know, on a bank track, you go to the top because it'll clean itself, but on a flat track, that's where everything goes, is up against the wall.
Jerry Glanville just learned that lesson very well. There's a look at the coach of the Atlanta Falcons. So after our first caution flag, we've got a moment, so we'll take a break in the action here from the Myrtle Beach Speedway. We'll have more in just a moment of the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250. After 9 of 250 laps, Jeff Gordon the leader, followed by Tommy Houston, Steve Grissom, Jimmy Spencer, and Jeff Burton. And the rest of the top 10 at this point: Todd Bodine, Ricky Craven, Robert Presley, Bobby Labonte, and Bobby Dotter. There you see the cleanup continuing from our first accident of the afternoon. Now we're going to our replay from the Armor All in-car camera in the Chuck Bound car. Here's a look at this wreck.
Oh, man, that makes you happy you're not there. I can promise you that. The wreck was already in process there when we went it.
Let's take a look at another replay high atop the racetrack.
Okay, let's see. That's the...
Mike Porter got sideways. Keller hit the wall in the far right-hand corner. And here we come. There's Glanville up the upper right of your screen in the black car going, uh-oh, picked the wrong lane.
It looked like Mike Porter might have come down a little bit and got snagged, and then he turned around and...
Here's the Armor All in-car camera in slow-mo, the back of Chuck Bound's car.
Okay.
Butch Miller there, Robert Powell, car 54, Miller in 75. There's Miller going around. Powell heads for the wall. Chuck Bound heads for safety.
You were right. The 35 car of Mike Porter got tapped and spun around. That triggered the whole accident there.
Tough break for Jerry Glanville. There's a look at his car. He will continue this afternoon. A lot of damage to that race car. He acquitted himself rather well in his first race at Rougemont 2 weeks ago. He ran 211 laps, and as the race went on, you could see that he was gaining confidence and gaining ability.
Well, you see that car there, the problem is not just the sheet metal there. The radiator's pushed back against the motor, and that's his real problem. They can't keep fluids in it to continue on. They can take the sheet metal off the car, but I'd say his day's over right now.
As is typical this time of the year, at this time of day, we've got some thunder strikes coming in and around us here at the racetrack, so that might put a bump or two on your screen or in the audio. Right now, let's go down to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, guys, this is Cecil Cooper. He owns the car that Coach Jerry Glanville was driving. And Cecil, some ruling by NASCAR might have helped out that accident. What happened?
Well, we were up on the trailer, you know, where we could see most of the track. And then they made us get down off the trailers. At first, they told us that's where we'd spot from, or either on that building. Well, you can't see 1 and 2 at all from that building down there. Especially you got more people up there than spotters, so you can't see anything, so I couldn't see the wreck. So I couldn't tell Jerry there was a wreck in front of him. And, you know, that's ridiculous to have spotters and then put them where you can't see.
Okay, and he's understandably upset. The NASCAR ruled that the spotters had to get down off the trailers, and he just couldn't see the wreck to tell Coach that it was there. Glanville is okay. We'll try to get a word with him whenever we catch up to him.
Jerry Glanville looked like he went into that wreck kind of blind when the cars were in the turn. You start to make the turn, you can't see what's exactly on the other side. Caught him by surprise.
Well, you touched on the whole problem there. When a car gets crossed up in front of you, the tire smoke goes up and you try to avoid the car in front of you. You go high and there's the car sitting against the wall, and he was just collected up in it.
The one-lap signal has gone up. We're going racing once again after our first caution flag of the afternoon. It involved 5 cars, the worst of which, as far as the damage was concerned, to the Jerry Glanville car. There's the pace car heading once again for pit road. We're getting set to go back to green. Out front, Jeff Gordon in the Baby Ruth Ford. Looks like Steve Grissom was trying to take a peek to the inside of Tommy Houston. He got way out of shape. See, that's the 3rd car in line. He fell well back. Good start again for Jeff Gordon. Jeff Burton had a great restart. He moved up 2 positions. He got underneath Jimmy Spencer in car 20. Car 8 is Jeff Burton. He had 1 win taken away from him already this year, and he had a 2nd place just a couple of weeks ago right here on TNN at Dover.
You know, Jimmy Spencer started off there, and he got crossed up a little bit on the restart and dropped several positions there. That's not like Jimmy Spencer to get caught up on a restart.
That's Kenny Wallace, the Dirt Devil in-car camera bumper cam. Joe Nemechek in car number 87 trying to sneak up there and give him a love tap. Spencer in a battle there with fellow transplanted Yankee Todd Bodine in car 34. Spencer in car 20. Spencer's last win came right here at Myrtle Beach in 1989, some 4 years ago. And for Dick Moroso, his car owner, this track also has a special feeling for him. His late son, Rob Moroso, became the youngest winner in Busch Grand National Series history right here at Myrtle Beach. So they're expecting and hoping some good things to happen this afternoon.
Well, Jimmy runs super good here, and Todd actually runs very well, but Ricky Craven's running a good race. And you look at the bad man right behind him there, Robert Presley. He's on the move.
Spencer now moving away from Todd Bodine, and it looks like Ricky Craven starting to turn up the heat. He's in car number 99. That's the DuPont Chevrolet. Spencer out of Berwick, Pennsylvania. Started out the year on the Winston Cup circuit. Now running on the Busch Grand National circuit, hoping for another dance partner sometime in the big show.
I was looking at that picture of Spencer. He looks like he's up to something just in that picture.
Maybe he knows something we don't this afternoon. There's Robert Presley working on the back bumper of Ricky Craven, turn 3.
Yeah, all these cars are handling super well. I see a little bit of smoke in the car in front of them. They're hoping that's just maybe a tire rubbing or something.
Robert Presley still a couple of car lengths off of Ricky Craven. Good 4-car battle in the back of the pack. That's for the 5th position.
Wow, I'm telling you, that Presley car is handling super good. He's got the whole left side of the car going in the corner under the white line.
There's Craven again, starting to creep ever closer in car 99 up to Todd Bodine. Craven's had a tough year so far. He has only 2 top 10 finishes. Jeff Gordon, the leader. He's led it from start to finish. As we head to commercial, we asked Jeff Gordon if his team still is as determined as it was before he announced he was leaving at the end of 1992.
It has settled down where really everybody's talking, everybody's getting along as much as you can possibly get along in this type of situation, but we're going to still go out and do our job. I'm going to go out and do my job, and we're going to be a team, and that's the only way we're going to win races or this championship is to be a team, and that's what we're working on trying to do right now.
We're under caution for the 2nd time this afternoon. There's a look at the rundown after 30 of 250 laps. There's your top 5. Ricky Craven helped bring out that 2nd caution flag, spinning in turn 3. He was battling with Robert Presley. We've got a replay.
Well, it looks like, well, that's pretty obvious. He pulled down and Presley was low as he could go. They touched, and once you touch on a flat track like this, around the car goes and right back up to the wall. Did a good job there.
Let's see, just might have nicked the wall, but a nice job from Craven not to really destroy that car.
If you're going to hit the wall, that's the way to do it. barely.
Ricky Craven now back in the 21st place after running in the number 6 spot while battling with Robert Presley. Again, we're under caution for the second time this afternoon. Jeff Gordon has led every single lap. We're on lap 32 now. He won both races this year at Atlanta and Charlotte from the pole position. Jeff Burton has been smoking just a bit, and now he's in the pits.
Yeah, I noticed that a while ago. He was smoking. Every time he started in the number 1 corner, you'd see smoke coming out, and they're looking like it might be engine problems.
Burton has had some engine problems in that TIC Financial Systems Oldsmobile from time to time this year, and it has cost them some top finish. We're going to take another quick break and come back with more action from the Myrtle Beach Speedway in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. More BGN action right after this. We're back under green. We missed just about a half a lap. We'd rather miss that than a whole bunch of racing. Jimmy Spencer off the pace. Looked like he was heading to the front, but that Daly's First Aid Oldsmobile, the Dick Moroso car, now coming on to pit road, making an unscheduled pit stop. And his hopes of winning this afternoon have perhaps gone away completely. They're going to the left side.
You see him with the jack on Jimmy Spencer's car. What's happened is this jumped out of gear, and they're going to try to put it in high gear.
Let's go down to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, you're exactly right, buddy. That's what's going on. The car was stuck in gear. He could not change gears. We remarked that the last restart he had a problem. He was able to get it in high gear. This time he wasn't. They're trying to physically to put the thing into 4th gear where we have to leave it. So this kills about any chance he's got today.
Jeff Gordon, as he has been all afternoon, out front. A new challenger, though, Steve Grissom out of Gadsden, Alabama. Grissom looking for his first win of 1992 in that Roddenberry's Oldsmobile. It's been some 25 races since he last won back in South Boston last year. Gordon now with about a 4-car length advantage.
Well, I'm glad to see him get up there and start racing with the 1 car, because I was thinking there was going to be a runaway, but Grissom seems to be right up to the measure here.
Jimmy Spencer back up the speed. You see him to the inside of Todd Bodine. Robert Presley just behind Jimmy Spencer. So Spencer back out onto the track and back running in high gear. Gets a little high, and look at Robert Presley.
I tell you, this guy, he's like a magnet. He goes through places you can't really see that he can make it through.
So Presley moves up 1 more by passing Todd Bodine. He'd like to get ahead of Jimmy Spencer. Of course, Spencer now laps down. Bobby Labonte trapped in some heavy traffic just behind the 08 car of Bobby Dotter. Labonte started 9th. He's made a steady progression to the front. Jimmy Spencer, we understand now, minus 3 laps after challenging early at the front of the pack. Todd Bodine may have a problem. He's steadily sliding back. He can't seem to get that car back on the inside of the racetrack.
Well, once you get on the outside here, it seems to slow the car down quite a bit.
The Armor All in-car camera from Chuck Bound's Nescafe Nestea Pontiac. Just in front of him, Ward Burton. A little tight.
Well, he's getting off the corner quite well, though. He gains quite a bit on the Baltimore car coming off the corner.
Chuck Bound qualified 5th, but he missed the driver's meeting, had to start dead last. There's Kenny Wallace, the Dirt Devil Pontiac, inside of Todd Bodine.
Nice clean move.
Come on, Todd, that's the in-car camera from Kenny Wallace's car. Kenny's in his rearview mirror. Don't get so close. Again, the Dirt Devil in-car camera. This track is really smooth, buddy, but that back bumper cam shows that still these cars do a lot of bouncing up and down.
Well, you run real soft springs on a short track like this. You notice the car, every time he backs off, you see the front drop down. Now watch it bounce right here. That's really a soft nose on that car.
Todd Bodine struggling just a bit, just behind Kenny Wallace, who came into this race as the leader of the Busch Grand National Series point chase. Kenny Wallace running 6th. Todd Bodine 7th. Still very early in the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250. Some 47 laps are now complete. Ouch.
He's fixing to induct him into the Chrome Horn Society if he backs off a little bit.
And they're coming up behind Butch Miller and a bunch of cars packed in behind Bobby Dotter.
Well, I'm going to tell you, that's as real as I've ever seen right there. It don't get any better than that. Great camera work.
Todd Bodine trying to close in. There it is out the front of the Dirt Devil Pontiac, the Dirt Devil in-car camera, just behind the Jack Sprague car.
There he goes. That is the Chrome Horn, folks. That means front bumper. He just knows what it means now.
It had to happen sooner or later, right?
Had to.
Look at how tight the racing is, going inside of Jack Sprague. You think Todd said, oops?
No. On the short track, you don't really get mad unless we got a caution.
Third caution flag is out for this afternoon. No word yet. We now see the NASCAR officials pointing to the skies. That must mean a little precipitation coming down here on the Myrtle Beach Speedway in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. You're apt to get the late afternoon showers and thunderstorms here on the Carolina Grandstand. Here, of course, in the summertime, this is the first day of summer as we pass from the spring into the dog days here in the Carolina Grandstand. So we're under caution for the third time this afternoon on lap 50 of the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250. Some 200 laps to go. Jeff Gordon started on the pole, and nobody has been able to feed it past him yet. Steve Grissom is challenging him now. Tommy Houston had a go at it for a while, couldn't hang on with him. Jimmy Spencer looked like he might have something for him, but if you just joined us, his car got hung up in gear, and he had some sort of problem, getting that back out of low gear into high gear. Lost 3 laps.
Yeah, well, right now, everybody's just kind of feeling their way around and not trying to get in trouble, because right now, if you ding the front end up or knock the toe end off or something like that, it'll come back to haunt you later in the race. So if you're running second and it looks like you got to abuse your tires or abuse your car, you just sit in second for a little while if you don't have pressure. But when you look in that mirror and see Jimmy Spencer coming, you got pressure whether you like it or not.
We're going to take a quick trip away from the Myrtle Beach Speedway for just a moment. But before we go away, we asked Robert Presley if he'd give himself a good grade so far this year.
Yeah, the Lights Tractor Trailer Training Center's come on strong at the middle of last year. And, I like it when we're hot like this. Our team's up. Everybody on pit road's happy for us, or they seem to be anyway. And, we're showing everybody what we were made out of and what we can do. And over the last couple of years, we've not been able to do that. But right now, we're showing everybody what we can do, and there's more to come.
We're under caution here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It is for rain as we have a afternoon shower moving into the Carolina Grandstand. You see the umbrellas going up. Even the flagman wants to stay dry here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. We are some 58 laps into this race. Jeff Gordon is out front as the cars continue slowly around the racetrack. It hopefully will be a short shower. It is a very light rain on the racetrack. Here's the top 10. Jeff Gordon, Steve Grissom. Tommy Houston, the outside pole sitter, 3rd. Robert Presley has moved up to 4th. Bobby Labonte has come from 9th to 5th. There's a look at the rest of the top 10. Tom Peck and Joe Nemechek, 9th and 10th. They started well back, so they've made some progress. Again, 58 of the 250 laps are complete. You see the umbrellas, the tarps, the tents all going up on pit road to try to keep everything dry.
These guys think of everything. Down pit road, they were putting tarps over the pit area where they don't get wet. Oh, this is a little testy here.
That's the Armor All in-car camera from the Chuck Bound car. You can see the rain on the windshield, and they have no wipers.
These guys are prepared. We don't have stuff like that in Winston Cup.
That is to keep pit road dry when we go back to racing, so they don't get slipping and sliding around there. One of the dropouts, Mark Whitaker's car, tarp over it. They're getting set to get packed and go home.
There goes the tents up. Everybody's prepared. no big deal.
Usually these don't last long, and we hope to get back to racing very quickly. This is the 15th race of 1992. And there's one of the local weathermen explaining, look, it's going to the west. It won't take very long. Take my word for it.
I guarantee you he could care less whether it rains or not.
He's already had some precipitation, as they would say. There's the pace car slowly circulating around this .538 mile track. Let's go down to a hopefully dry Glenn Jarrett.
Well, thanks, Mark. We are dry. The guy you're looking at here is Ricky Pearson. Lately on TNN, he's getting more airtime than Ralph Emery because they've been running up front so much. Looks like Robert's steadily moving his way up through there, Rick, just biding his time.
Well, he is. You know, that was our game plan to start with. Yesterday we had a little trouble qualifying, didn't qualify as well as we'd ran, but, you know, Robert's just taking his time, and, you know, hopefully we'll get to the front.
Well, now, I've been an observer of this sport for a long, long time, and particularly since you came on board with Robert, and have noticed a definite improvement in the way that he approaches a race. And I know I watch you in the pits. You're in communication with him just about every lap.
Yeah, you know, I try to do that, you know, give him his lap times, and, you know, Robert does a great job. You know, he's got to a point where he goes hard when he has to, but when he doesn't have to, he's, you know, he's real patient now, and he's turned into a real good driver.
Well, I know that in the years that you, when you grew up with your father and watched his style, you've tried to impress that style upon Robert. It's working lately. You guys have been hot.
Yeah, you know, we really have, but, you know, back when my dad drove, it was, you know, kind of wait to the last lap. You know, you can't wait that long now, but, you know, Robert's doing a real good job, you know, having a lot of patience, you know, more than he used to have.
Well, the reason for a lot of that patience is Rick Pearson. Keep an eye on him. He's headed toward the front.
Robert Presley looking for his third straight win. That it has only been done 3 times in the circuit's history. Sam Ard in 1984, Larry Pearson 1987, Ricky's brother, of course Ricky the crew chief there as well, and Harry Gant in the fall of last year when he had that Super September. The record for consecutive wins though on the circuit is 4. That was Sam Ard back in 1983. It's tough to win one, buddy, but then you start stacking them up like that. Pretty tough to do. We're going to take another quick break and come back with more live exclusive BGN coverage right here on TNN. Welcome back live to Myrtle Beach Speedway in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where Carolina Pride Budweiser 250 has been under red for about 35-40 minutes, but we're back under yellow. The cars have been circulating around the racetrack as we just about ready now to finish up drying this half-mile racetrack. Again, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Garrow, along with Buddy Baker and Glenn Jarrett, as we're getting set for more Busch Grand National Series racing action. We certainly hope you enjoyed the episodes of Trucks and Tractor Power, and of course that new episode of Winners with Neil Bonnet on Fast Eddie Hill. You see the cars weaving back and forth behind the pace car. They will get a chance to make a visit to pit road. Once NASCAR feels the track is race ready, the cars on the lead lap will make a stop, and after that, the next lap, those cars laps down will get to make a stop before we get back to racing action. If you just joined us, Jeff Gordon has led this race from the get-go, from the pole position, after he broke the old track record set by Dale Earnhardt in 1988. Pit road is open. And those cars, if they so choose, will come down pit road if they would like. The leaders are going no.
NASCAR has just given us an indication that they're going to bring them in 10 laps. That's when the flag will drop.
10 laps to go under yellow before we get to the green flag here this afternoon in the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250. These laps under yellow do count. We're 78 laps into this 250 lap event. That's the Armor in-car camera in the Nescafe car of Chuck Bound. He started this race dead last after missing the drivers meeting, and he has quickly poured to the front. He is now running 12th. He, of course, the defending winner of this Carolina Pride Budweiser 250. You see him just behind the Gwaltney car of Ward Burton.
Well, everybody's getting ready here, and the racetrack's washed clean now. You know, the rubber even that was building up on the racetrack is turning loose now. It's going to be a fresh surface. You're going to see a lot of cars that wasn't running too well before the rain really get after it now.
And you're going to see some that were running well head to the back. We're going to take a quick break and come right back to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Green flag action coming up from the Carolina Grandstand. Today's TNN coverage of the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250 is being brought to you by Texaco, official sponsor of the 1992 U.S. Olympic team. We're getting ever closer to getting back to green flag action here at Myrtle Beach. Let's go down to Glenn Jarrett.
We're standing in the pit of Jeff Burton, driver of car number 8. The problem is a faulty valve cover gasket on the right side of the engine. Jeff brought the car in, smoke boiling from it, had him shut the engine off. They pulled the valve cover gasket, smoke just billowed from it then. They seem to have the problem under correction right now. The biggest problem they've got, they've sat here for two laps on pit road, so they're losing valuable time. This is going to take him out of the race as a factor. A tough break, but something that had to be tended to. We had seen smoke coming from the car earlier. Evidently, when the engine cooled off, then when he refired it, the place where it was leaking small ruptured and allowed a lot of oil to come out. So tough break for Jeff Burton. Mark?
Jeff Burton, it's been that kind of year. There you see high atop the grandstands his spotter and car owner, Phil Martossi. That's the area where NASCAR is designated for the spotters to go. They get high in the grandstand, so they have a good look at this racetrack. That way they're able to keep their drivers safe and keep them out of wrecks once they occur.
Yeah, that was reported earlier. You know, one of the guys was complaining he couldn't stand on top of the truck, but that was the designated place for those guys to go. And if he'd have been up there, I'm sure that he could have told his driver that there was going to be a problem.
Jeff Burton is back out onto the racetrack, but he is laps down. We have a special guest in our booth. We noticed during one of our camera shots, the crowd jumping up and down, and in the middle of that pack, the Silver Fox, David Pearson, second all-time winner on the NASCAR Winston Cup Series, 105 wins. Glad to have you with us.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I really enjoy it. I've always liked sportsman racing or Grand National racing, and you know, it's not this far from home, so I decided I'd come down and watch my two boys. You know, I got two boys on the Alliance team working there, so I thought I'd come down and watch it.
They've made quite a difference for Robert Presley.
They are running real good. Of course, they've run good all year, and of course, every week Ricky always tells me we're gonna win this one. We're gonna win this one, so he never gives up.
Man, I'm thrilled to death to have a guy that, you know, when I was a little boy, I used to pull for David and everything, and now to have him up here in the booth with me, I'm just thrilled to death.
You know, I wish the cameras were showing here, because everybody knows that Buddy Baker's always older than me. He always has been, but I see that he gets up here where there's no camera nobody can see, and he goes to line already.
There you see David's son, Ricky, sitting there on the big pit wagon down in the Alliance Truck Training Center's pit area.
Yeah,
a lot of the same mannerisms as his dad, just sort of cooling out, chilling out, getting set to go back to green in a couple of laps. That's exactly what we'll be doing.
You know, he's a crew chief for Robert there, and of course, you know, like I said, I've always liked this type of racing, and I wouldn't mind getting back in it. I got a shop, and it's full of race cars ready to go and everything. All I need is a sponsor. If I could get that, yeah, I wouldn't even mind coming back to Grand National.
The one-lap sign is going up as Robert Presley is getting set to get back to business. Again, he's looking for his third straight victory. Only 3 times in series history have drivers been able to accomplish that fact. He currently lies 4th in the pack as we get set to go back to green on lap 85 of the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250. Jeff Gordon is out front. He was the pole sitter. Nobody has been able to get by that Baby Ruth Ford. Steve Grissom is 2nd. Tommy Houston is 3rd. Presley is 4th. Bobby Labonte, the reigning series champ, has moved up to 5th. He's being followed by Bobby Dotter, Kenny Wallace, Todd Bodine, Tom Peck, Joe Nemechek. The lights are off the pace car. You can see it now pulling away from the field. Takes that quick left onto pit road. We're getting set to go back to action. The car beside Jeff Gordon is Jimmy Spencer. He is -3 laps. He got a quick jump. Jeff Gordon stalled just a bit. Looks like Steve Grissom will take a run at him in turn 1.
I hope Jimmy Spencer knows what he's doing there. If he didn't stall, he's in big trouble with NASCAR.
There's Tommy Houston, his hands full with Robert Presley. Gordon now out front. In front of him, the lap car of Jimmy Spencer. Behind him, a hungry man. Richard Lassiter spins in turn 4. Caution flag is out. Here they are racing into turn 3. Spencer trying to get back 1 of the 3 laps he lost. Gordon trying to pin him back there as Lassiter comes back out into the racing groove. Spencer indeed gets 1 of those laps back. Heads up for Jimmy Spencer.
That was a very heads up, and he did not jump, or NASCAR did not decide that he jumped, so that was a heads up move for Jimmy Spencer.
There's Lassiter spinning in turn 4. Jack Sprague, a little bit of a love tap there. Ricky Craven made a nice evasive move there, jumping around those two race cars, and he was able to escape unscathed. There's the innkeeper car for Richard Lassiter. Lassiter driving a car owned by one of the series' all-time greats, Sam Ard.
Yeah, that was casual contact there. That wasn't anything major.
Fifth caution flag of the afternoon. The one-lap sign goes out again as we're quickly going back to action. There you see the best 1992 finish for Richard Lassiter. Once again, the cars will stack up behind the pace car. You see them weaving back and forth, trying to clear some of that rubber off their tires, making sure that the tires haven't picked up a leak or going flat. Jeff Gordon in car number 1. He has been the man to catch all afternoon long, and nobody can catch him, at least to this point. But Steve Grissom starting to mount a challenge now. Grissom is one hungry driver. He has not won since last year. He's one of the top runners on this circuit. He desperately would like to put something on the scoreboard this afternoon. Butch Miller now beside Jeff Gordon on this restart. Green flag is back out. There's Grissom again, looking to the inside. He got a good jump. Gordon, though, squeezed in there and slammed the door.
Yeah, that was a nice move on Grissom. He could have held in there and made it a little tough for him getting in the corner, but it's give and take at this point in the race.
Remember, Gordon said his car has a little bit of a push after a green flag, and Steve Grissom is trying to use that to his advantage. Grissom becomes the first new leader this afternoon other than Jeff Gordon as he makes the pass in turn 1. It'll be an official lead change if he can make it stick all the way around to the start-finish line.
Now, he's going to make it stick for at least a lap. I tell you what, that was a heads-up move, letting him go and then waiting for the right opportunity.
So Steve Grissom out front in the Roddenberry's Oldsmobile.
I believe Jeff Gordon's got a little bit of push from the center of the corner out. Grissom's car is just a little bit better now on this fresh racetrack.
Steve Grissom in car 31. Jeff Gordon in car 1. The rest of the cars chasing them have been bottled up behind the lap car of Butch Miller. Here's Jeff Gordon coming right back for the back bumper of Steve Grissom. Grissom, the 28-year-old, four-time winner on the Busch Grand National Series circuit. In the back of the pack, Chuck Bound making steady progress. There's the Armor All in-car camera right behind the Texas Pete Chevrolet of Joe Nemechek. Bound started dead last, and he has steadily climbed to the front of the pack.
It don't get no better than this. That's what it looks like, folks. Anytime you're out there on the race car, that's the shot you see.
Bound starts to close in again, looking to move up another spot.
Like Nemechek might be a little bit loose when he gets back into the power.
That's a battle for the 10th spot. Remember, Chuck Bound started 29th. Chuck Bound was busy working on Joe Nemechek, and then car 72, Tracy Leslie snuck up in there and said, I'm ready to do some battle as well.
David, that make you a little homesick to see him going in the corner in that camera there?
Well, it does, but you know, it's a lot better sitting right here looking at this camera. You can see exactly how close they can get, and, you know, without touching and all that stuff. But I enjoy it. Like I say, I've always enjoyed Grand National racing.
Joe Nemechek has been the most consistent runner here at Myrtle Beach the last 2 years. Here is the battle for the lead again. Jeff Gordon trying to steam up the rearview mirror of Steve Grissom and retake the lead. He lost to Grissom just a few laps ago.
Without a doubt, you can see Jeff Gordon's car is out handling Grissom right at the moment. He'll close in on him right here in the middle. He's trying to get up under him. That car has come back to him now. The racetrack's getting more like it was before it rained.
Grissom trying to hold on as again he seeks his first win of 1992. Jeff Gordon making things extremely difficult right now.
Well, difficult, but catching somebody and passing them on this smaller track is another story. And he's going to have to make a mistake before Jeff gets under him, I think.
Next by the time by the start-finish line, 100 laps will be complete as Grissom now working by the lapped car of Mark Whitaker. Yellow flag is out. Our sixth caution flag of the afternoon has come out. Steve Grissom was able to hold on to the lead as they streaked to the start-finish line. Apparently, there may be some debris on the racetrack. Butch Miller trying to sneak by and maybe perhaps try to make NASCAR think he really did beat Steve back to the start-finish line. We're going to take another quick break and come back with more live Busch Grand National Series coverage from Myrtle Beach Speedway right after this. There's a look at the top 5 in the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250. We're under the 6th caution flag of the afternoon. A number of cars have now taken this opportunity to go to pit road. From this point on, it's a little bit of a gamble, but they can make it, hopefully, the rest of the way on gas, and that's what they're gambling on.
Yeah, I don't think the leaders come in, though. I don't know whether they made that stop or not. I did notice one thing, though. Bob Presley's moved all the way up to 3rd place now, so look out. There's 3 heavy hitters up front now.
Tommy Houston brought his Rose's Stores Buick onto pit road. It looked like they changed tires and also put some gas in there as we're lining up again for the restart. On the point, Steve Grissom out of Gadsden, Alabama. He took the lead just a few laps ago from pole sitter Jeff Gordon right there in car number 1. The lap car of Jeff Burton, car 8 beside him. In the 3rd spot, Robert Presley. Bobby Labonte has moved up from 9th to the 4th position as we're getting set to go back to the green flag. 5th is Kenny Wallace. 6th is Todd Bodine. Then it's Tom Peck, Joe Nemechek, Chuck Bound, Tracy Leslie, Ward Burton, and Ricky Craven. Pace car back on pit road. We're getting set to go back to green. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Tommy Houston came in and took advantage of that caution for a 4-tire stop, also gas. We're back underway here. He's gambling that they're going to go the rest of the way in the green, and he's ready for it.
Under the green flag on lap 105. Steve Grissom got a good start. Jeff Gordon locked in a battle with the lap car of Butch Miller.
Joe Nemechek on the back straightaway just spun.
Joe Nemechek brings out the 7th caution flag of the afternoon, and you see some terrible damage to the right front of that Texas Pete Chevrolet. Joe Nemechek came into this race 3rd in the Busch Grand National Series point standings. Looking for a big day. He'd finished 5th here at Myrtle Beach, both in 1990 and 91.
Look at that right front tire there. That's major damage there.
He will not get another top 5 this afternoon.
David, that looks like it broke a steering piece there.
He broke something, buddy, or hit the pole back on that back stretch something, but it really messed his front end up.
So Joe Nemechek trying to limp that car around to pit road. Here's a replay.
It's a little after. We can't tell whether he had any help or not, but we can't see what he really slammed into there.
Hit that inside retaining wall.
Yeah.
Inside guardrail.
Right where a post is. I can see it from here over on the back stretch.
So Joe Nemechek, a rather hard lick in the inside guardrail on the back straightaway. That will take away any chance he has for victory this afternoon. Of course, Joe Nemechek still hungry for that first victory on the Busch Grand National Series. He's been on the circuit now about 3 years and still looking for win number 1. Again, we're going to take a quick break and come back with more green flag action from Myrtle Beach Speedway in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Back at Myrtle Beach Speedway, Joe Nemechek's crippled car seeking attention on pit road. Let's take a look at the Armor All in-car camera with Chuck Bound at the controls right behind Joe Nemechek. Let's take a look at what happens next.
Okay, they're picking up the throttle right here. He backs off a little bit. Wham, right in the back end, turns him right in the inside wall. Chuck Bound didn't mean to do it. It's just one of those things when cars are accelerating.
No Christmas cards between those two this year. Green flag coming out this next time as the lights have gone off the pace car. We're 110 laps into the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250. Live Busch Grand National Series action here on TNN. Steve Grissom, the leader. The lap car beside him, Butch Miller in car number 75. Grissom again with a great start. He gets Miller in between him and the 2nd place car, car number 1. That's Jeff Gordon. Robert Presley now, a little bit of a love tap as things get bottled up there in turn 4.
Yeah, that was one of those little casual contacts too. But look at Presley, how well he's handling there. We got 3 major players out there right now.
Make that 4. Look at car 44 for Bobby Labonte, the defending series champ. He's in the 4th spot. Just behind him, car 20. There again, the Armor All in-car camera inside the Chuck Bound car. He's just behind Tom Peck.
I tell you, Chuck Bound's flying right now. He's getting around this racetrack as fast as anybody out there. Look at that car come off the corner.
Look at
Steve
Presley.
Grissom. And look at that battle for second. Robert Presley inside Jeff Gordon. Gordon slips up the racetrack, and Bobby Labonte trying to wedge his way into third.
Oh man, this is fun. I hadn't done a short track race for TNN. This is fun. The major speedways, I don't think the action's quite as fierce.
Jimmy Spencer, 2 laps down, gets together with Jeff Gordon. And he got together
I think
again
there's
a little
something
bit.
wrong.
And
Something's wrong with Jeff
I think
Gordon's
he's got a tire
car.
going down.
He's on the outside, they're slowing way down.
so Jeff Gordon, the pole sitter, fading back. You see Ricky Craven going underneath him now, as did Tracy Leslie moments ago in car 72. Ward Burton now goes by.
That car looks like it's going through the corner pretty decent. Straightaway, he's losing a lot of ground.
Maybe we'll get an idea what the problem is with Glenn Jarrett.
We don't know right now. I talked to Bill Davis. He just looked at me, threw up his hands, shrugged his shoulders. He's trying to talk to Jeff now, but obviously Jeff's been pretty busy, couldn't talk on the radio. But they know there is a problem. They think there's a tire going down, but Jeff hasn't been able to confirm that yet, so we're just going to have to wait and see.
How hard is it for the driver to diagnose, Buddy, some type of problem like a slow leak in a tire?
Well, slow leak in the tire will start as either a push or a loose condition, and he's trying to figure out now whether it's motor or tires, because the car is definitely dropping off the pace.
But I don't really believe there's anything wrong with the car. I think he just got hung up on that outside and got in that loose stuff. And like you said, the rubber on the racetrack from a while ago was more or less make like a little marbles, like, you know. So I believe that's what it was.
Back up at the front, Robert Presley has joined the battle for the #1 spot along with Bobby Labonte. Steve Grissom in car 31 is out front. Presley, a 3-time winner in 1992. Labonte also has a victory. The only man with a 0 in the scoreboard, as far as the victory column is concerned, is Grissom. He's trying to hold on.
This guy's a savage here. Look how he moves in the corners. I tell you, he drives a race car 100% all the time.
Presley down below the white line trying to get it done.
From a race driver's point of view, that's what you love to see. I tell you, when a guy drives the car 100% every lap, there's nothing prettier.
We get word now that Jeff Burton, after an unscheduled pit stop, came back out onto the racetrack after an oil leak, has been black flagged again. He'll have to go to pit road. That was car number 8. Here's Presley again, starting to close in.
We have a caution.
That is trouble in turn 2. Yellow flag out for the 8th time this afternoon. Grissom beats Presley back to the line. That is Jack Sprague in car 10. In car 34, Todd Bodine trying to fire that car back up.
And just back behind them, Hal Goodson's up against the wall coming off of 2.
So Todd Bodine hung up there in the inside groove. He had a little bit of a head cold this morning and wasn't feeling 100%. And he really won't be feeling well now as that Hungry Jack car's hung up on the curb.
He don't look like a happy camper sitting there. You see him throw that visor up here, a little perturbed.
This yellow flag a blessing for Jeff Gordon. He had a problem with sliding through the back of the pack. He will probably take this opportunity to go to pit road. We'll have to wait and see, though. That's exactly what he will do. There's the Hal Goodson car, waving frantically, give me a push, somebody get me going.
That's an aggravating thing when you're sitting up there and it won't crank and they won't come get you.
Todd Bodine's car has now been brought its way onto the back straightaway, being pushed, and now it fires. He's backing away, but he lost at least a lap in that altercation in turn 2, as Goodson's car still up against the wall. We're under our 8th caution flag of the afternoon here in the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250.
All the lead cars look like they're coming in now.
Steve Grissom, Robert Presley.
Bobby Labonte stayed out. That surprises me. I thought maybe he needs to lead that lap for points and then he'll come in.
Jeff Gordon coming on pit road. Tom Peck there as well. He was running in the top 10. Ward Burton slides into his pit. Here's the Baby Ruth team coming in. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Markey has brought the car in, had a little trouble getting around the 27 car. They have called for a 4-tire change. They're also making a chassis adjustment on the right rear wedge bolt. Looked like he took a couple of rounds out, so And they only changed 2 tires. That's kind of surprising. They had called for 4, but he only changed the right side tires. Possibility he might come back in. We're just going to have to wait and see. We'll get a word with Bill Davis just as quick as they get the pit clear here.
So Jeff Gordon rejoining the field. Robert Presley now coming back into the action. We'll have more from Myrtle Beach Speedway in just a moment as the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250 continues. Jeff Gordon comes back into the pit area as we continue under yellow. Just a quick stop for some loose lug nuts, it looked like. Let's go down to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, that's exactly right, Mark. The concern of the crew here right now is when Jimmy Spencer got his lap back, he hit Jeff in the rear pretty hard, and he really caved the rear bumper in. They're afraid that he might have done some frame damage. Jeff is reporting a vibration on the car. They really haven't had a chance to look at it yet. The cars go around here so fast under caution, they can only change 2 tires at a time, so they haven't had time to look for the problem. They've been concerned with changing tires. I'm going to get a word with Bill Davis just to find out exactly what is going on.
Jeff Gordon, you can see him sort of getting the feel for that race car. We're getting set to go back to green flag action after our 8th yellow flag of the day. A new leader, Bobby Labonte, in the Slim Jim Chevrolet. The defending series champ came into this race 5th in the Busch National Series point standings. Right behind him, Tracy Leslie. Ricky Craven, who's recovered nicely from an early race spin. He runs 3rd. And 4th is Tommy Houston. He's already pitted for 4 tires and fuel, so Tommy Houston might be looking pretty good here as we reel in the later stages of the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250. Green flag back out. Bobby Labonte with a quick jump. Car 75 right behind Labonte is a laps down.
Did you see those cars get out of shape there? That's when you don't clean the tires properly, and they jump sideways like crazy on restarts.
Car number 72, Tracy Leslie, is the number 2 man. Would dearly love to get by Butch Miller, see if he can't do something with Bobby Labonte. Here's Tommy Houston starting to put some heat on Ricky Craven. A little farther back, there's Jeff Gordon in a pile of cars. Ricochets off the side of Hal Goodson. Let's go back down to pit road and Glenn Jarrett.
Okay, we can get a word now with Bill Davis. Bill, what is Jeff saying about the car? What is the problem?
Well, the car was tight before the rain delay, and man, it just got terribly tight. So we made a ton of adjustment and put 4 tires on. Hopefully it's going to be better.
One of the crew said that there might be a vibration in the car.
Yeah, he's feeling a vibration, but he hadn't said anything about it since we went back green, so hopefully it was that set of tires.
Spencer's having to hustle right now just to stay in this, the lap he made up, because this 99 car is really hooked up.
Bobby Dotter right there in that day-glow orange car right behind him.
Front straightaway.
Bobby Labonte spins across the start-finish line, brings out the 9th caution flag. He'll try to get the car refired. He will not lose a lap. And remember, Labonte did not pit under that last caution flag. Here we are, the battle back to the caution flag. Jimmy Spencer trying to get down -1. Craven trying to hold him back -2.
Got it.
Can't do it. Jimmy Spencer's made up 2 of 3 laps lost.
Bobby Labonte better be glad he was down here in the sand hills when he spun into that grass. If that had been a normal racetrack, and when he hit that grass in that rain like it has, he would have been stuck.
There's Bobby Labonte's record so far in 1992. Here's a replay. Chuck bound to the inside of car 44, Bobby Labonte up on the high part of the racetrack.
Up. 6th car gets into him. He crosses up back into the quarter panel on the 6th car and goes straight across. Look at Grissom.
That was close.
Robert Presley and Steve Grissom just barely snuck by. It looked like Ward Burton tapped. Him and Tommy Houston tapped, and Houston then moved up into the side of Bobby Labonte. Could have been a real bad wreck, and really nobody got hurt.
Yeah, that was very, very lucky for everybody. They got through there with just a little bit of sliding around on the front straightaway here.
We are some 140 laps into the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250, as we're just now past the halfway mark of this race. If you've just joined us, we had a short red flag period for rain. A little bit cloudy now, but very much dry here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. And we'll have more green flag action of this race when we come right back in just a moment to the Carolina Grandstand. We've seen all kinds of action this afternoon here in the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250. Jimmy Spencer on pit road. Spencer hanging in there. He lost 3 laps. He's made up 2. could be a factor before this one's over. He's running strong.
Yeah, he can come right back up to the front again with any luck at all. He can get right back in the lead lap.
Our special guest analyst through this last little section of racing was David Pearson. I know you have to get back to some folks in the grandstand, but we appreciate you stopping
Mark,
by.
I enjoyed it, and I appreciate you inviting me up, and also Buddy. Well, Buddy was fixing to say something, so ain't no telling what it was.
I just want to say, any sponsors out there would like to see David Pearson get another race team. You know, they were champions here when his son raced for him. Like to see him back in the sport. He's a real credit to the sport.
Well,
a lot of
you,
people
buddy.
would. A lot of people would like to see David Pearson back in.
I appreciate that, and the next time we run together, I won't be so hard on you.
I appreciate it, David.
They ran a race out in Ohio. Can we call it an old timers race? Would that be fair?
No, you can't say that.
No, I can't say that. Well, let's just say that David Pearson beat Buddy Baker. We're getting set to go back to
David.
Thanks, David. Green flag is out. Ricky Craven trying to hold off Bobby Doddard. Kenny Wallace has moved up to third, and Chuck Bound has come from dead last, 29th spot, up to fourth. There's the Armor All in-car camera from the Chuck Bound car, currently riding fourth. Kenny Wallace just in front of him, and the Dirt Devil in-car camera. That's the bumper cam. Little front and back.
Look at the hood on this car.
Chuck Bound looking in on Kenny Wallace.
You know, Chuck Bound's done a great job today. He has moved right up to the front here. I tell you, he's doing a great job.
There's Jimmy Spencer, Chuck Bound taking turns driving up to the rear bumper of Kenny Wallace. Jimmy Spencer jumped in there between Chuck Bound and Kenny Wallace during that last little bit of racing there.
You talk about a bull in a china shop. That's that man coming up through there right now. Jimmy Spencer wants that lap back, and he's going to get it, I think.
Jimmy Spencer's worked Kenny Wallace up the racetrack, and in the Armor All in-car camera, Chuck Bound gets in a little bit to Kenny Wallace. That's the Nescafe Pontiac up close and personal. There's Bobby Doddard going for the lead underneath Ricky Craven. And there's Jimmy Spencer. If he can get by Doddard, he's back on the tail end of the lead lap.
I think he's going to get back by. You know, he made a pit stop, took on left side tires, and that car is really hooked up. Watch Spencer right here. I'd say it won't take another lap before he'll be in there.
There he is, dipping inside of Bobby Doddard. The onslaught of Jimmy Spencer continues after losing 3 laps. He has clawed and scratched his way back. If he gets a yellow flag, this guy's going to be tough to deal with.
I tell you, these people love him. They're all standing down the front straightaway here. He's on the move.
100 laps to go in the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250. Bobby Doddard, the leader in car 08. Jimmy Spencer, just in front of him, is now on the tail end of the lead lap.
Up, we have a span off 2 up here.
That's Eddie Goodson. That does not bring out the yellow flag as he clears the racetrack. There's Steve Grissom trying to drive up inside Bobby Labonte. Again, car 20 has battled back from 3 laps down to the tail end of the lead lap. Bobby Doddard in car 08 is the leader. The car behind them lost a lap after a caution flag moments ago. That is Todd Bodine in car 34.
You know, every once in a while, you just got to go, whew. I'm going to tell you what, it comes in a hurry when they start racing for the lead here and trying to make up laps.
Chuck Bound and Ricky Craven, along with Kenny Wallace, battling there. Bound has slipped up underneath Kenny Wallace for third. Here's Chuck Bound's in-car camera again as he works on the back bumper of that Chevrolet of Ricky Craven.
Wow, he's making this thing look easy too. This car is really hooked up. Up, we have a spin down the front straightaway.
Steve Grissom got together with Butch Miller. In Grissom's car, a man who was a contender for the win, ricochets through the infield, and here's Jimmy Spencer down to the yellow flag. Jimmy Spencer is right back in the ball game on the lead lap, and a long way to go.
I mean to tell you, back in the ball game, the way that car's running, I wouldn't be, but now he's got to come from the rear again. You know, he's not up front like he could close up when he was trying to make those laps up.
You see the sparks coming from underneath the Food Country USA Oldsmobile of Butch Miller. He was the other car involved in that wreck with Steve Grissom.
That looks serious. It's only a flat tire. That's the headers you see. They're dragging on the ground there. As soon as they put a tire on, he'll be right back in action.
Tough break for Steve Grissom. I mean, he was making his way back up through the pack, and it looked like he might have something today, and all for naught.
That's always aggravating when you have a car hooked up as well as this car was doing to have problems like that.
Under 100 laps to go in the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250. All kinds of green flag action yet to come from Myrtle Beach Speedway. Today's TNN coverage of the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250 is being brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. 158 of 250 laps are in the record book. Bobby Dotter, the leader. Chuck Bound has battled from 29th to 2nd. There you see Kenny Wallace 3rd, 4th Ricky Craven. Tommy Houston has pitted for 4 tires and fuel. He's back up to 5th. Robert Presley on the prowl again in 6th, followed by Bobby Labonte, Jeff Gordon, Tom Peck, and Tracy Leslie to round out the top 10 as we rapidly draw to a close here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Again, I'm Mark Garrett along with Buddy Baker and Glenn Jarrett patrolling pit road for us this afternoon. Bobby Dotter, the winner at New River Valley Speedway just a few weeks ago in Pulaski, Virginia. That victory coming 2 days after the checkered flag fell. Jeff Burton was the man who took the checkered flag, but his car was deemed illegal. So on Monday morning, Bobby Dotter got a phone call in his shop. No pictures, no champagne. And that's how he grabbed his first Busch Grand National Series victory. Got cheated just a little bit.
Oh, that's a shame. I tell you what, though, he's running super good today, but he's got a bunch of them nipping at his heels. We're going to have one shootout here now.
Bobby Dotter has had an up and down year. He's had some strong runs, but he comes into this race 16th in the points. He has only one other top 10 finish, a great run at Bristol where he finished 3rd. At Myrtle Beach Speedway, his best finish back in 1990 was a 4th, trying to improve upon that by 3 positions today. Green flag will come out this next time by. It'll be lap 161. When we get back to green flag action, Bobby Dotter, Chuck Bound, Kenny Wallace, Ricky Craven, Tommy Houston, followed by Robert Presley, the man looking to set some history this afternoon by becoming only the 4th man in series history to win 3 straight races. Chuck Bound, the Armor All in-car camera on the restart. Bobby Dotter jumps out front, and Todd Bodine in the Hungry Jack car jumps in between Chuck Bound and the leader. In turn 3.
I'm sure Chuck would just as soon he'd get out of the way now. He's worked his way from last position all the way into 2nd. I don't think he wants to have to fight the Hungry Jack car now for position.
Speaking of hungry, Chuck Bound would like to chew on victory lane here if he can this afternoon.
Look at that tachometer. It drops down to about 5,000 there. Right in the middle of the corner, 55. Watch it come up now down the straightaway. That's him. Whoops.
Things getting a little tight. I wonder what happens when you mix coffee with pancake mix.
Well, I don't think we're going to see that. When he got under him nice and clean. Kenny Wallace is running super well, too.
There's Kenny Wallace in car. That's the Dirt Devil in-car camera and the Dirt Devil Pontiac. Wallace in 3rd spot, looking for his 2nd victory of 1992.
We got cameras every which way you look now.
Back bumper of Chuck Bound looking at the front bumper of Kenny Wallace.
And there you have it, looking at the back bumper of Chuck Bound. I mean, we got cameras, folks.
The Armor All in-car bumper cam. Chuck Bound is sandwiched in between 2 one-time winners in 1992. He, of course, still looking for his first win. He's a 10-time winner for his career on the Busch Grand National Series.
I think we're fixing to see a lead change in just a few seconds. Chuck Bound's car is sticking right around the bottom of the racetrack. He is outrunning Bobby Dotter right now.
Chuck Bound closing in turn 3. Takes a peek to the inside. That door got closed in a hurry.
Yeah. If he makes one mistake, though, he'll be running in 3rd place before he knows what happens.
Bobby Dotter, Chuck Bound, and Kenny Wallace battling for the lead in the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250. Daughter slides up the racetrack again, but not enough for Bound to wedge his way in there.
I tell you, Daughter's car is really strong down the straightaway. I think the 2 cars behind him are out handling him, but he's going down that straightaway.
Bobby Daughter, the 31-year-old from Chicago, Illinois. Back to the strike. 169 laps are complete. The Armor All in-car camera once again right up on the back bumper of Bobby Daughter's machine.
Uh-oh, there's trouble with Presley's car. He's smoking real bad.
Robert Presley brings out the caution flag for the 11th time. A lot of smoke coming from the rear of that Alliance car. He drops it down onto the apron of the racetrack. As we said at the top of the program, the question today, would anybody be able to put out the flames of Robert Presley? Nobody could, but a mechanical problem put out that fire. And Robert Presley's been the hottest man on the circuit the last couple of weeks, leading 246 of the 500 laps run in the past 2 races, along with winning those events.
That's very internal there. See the smoke coming out of that left exhaust? He's got real problems on like maybe a burned piston.
So Robert Presley, who came into this race only 21 points behind Kenny Wallace, will lose a serious amount of ground in the Busch Grand National Series points chase. A lot of cars still on the racetrack. Very low attrition rate here this afternoon. We're under yellow. We'll have more green flag when we come right back to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Today's TNN coverage of the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250 is being brought to you by Split Fire Spark Plugs. More power, more mileage, or your money back. Before we get back to green, let's quickly go down to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, they haven't given up the ghost yet on Robert Presley's car, but just about. Robert, what is the problem with the car?
Something flew up off the racetrack and knocked a hole in the radiator, and just lost all the water there in it. You know, the Lions tractor trailer train Oldsmobile run good. We just sitting there playing around, and I don't guess we get 3 in a row here.
Okay, better luck to you next time, Robert. That's the story.
So Robert Presley is mortal after all. After the past couple of weeks, the way he's been running, you had to wonder. Just a great show the past 2 weeks at Dover and Rougemont. We're getting set to go back to green. Bobby Daughter is the race leader. Chuck Bound, Kenny Wallace, Bobby Labonte behind him. The lap car of Steve Grissom, car 31. Bound will try to dispose of him and go back to work on Bobby Daughter in car number 08. Jeff Gordon is already back up to 5th. Chuck Bound a little bit sideways, trying to get underneath Bobby Daughter.
What's that old saying? They don't get any better than this.
From the Armor All in-car camera, you can see where Chuck Bound is a little nudge to Bobby Daughter and takes the lead. Only the 3rd race this season that Chuck Bound has led. Robert Presley officially out of this afternoon's event. Tough break for him. The bumper cam from Chuck Bound's Nescafe car.
You notice this guy knew that he didn't do anything wrong. What happened, I think, he just lost traction a little bit, and Chuck just nudged him a little bit, but he's not aggravated with it. That's a serious leader, too. He's going to be tough to pass.
Chuck Bound has played a patient but aggressive game this afternoon, climbing from 29th spot, dead last, now up to the front.
We have a wreck in 3.
Ricky Craven, Richard Lassiter involved there. That's the 2nd time involved in a yellow flag this afternoon for Ricky Craven. Also there, Robert Powell, car hidden just behind the pole. Powell, one of the home state runners here at Myrtle Beach Speedway. Here's Chuck Bound back down to the yellow flag. Bobby Daughter beats him to the line. We'll have to see how they'll line up.
I thought we was going to see more than you thought you could see. My Lord. That car sitting over there and everybody dodging them and trying to beat the cars back to the start-finishing line.
A lot of damage to Robert Powell's car. Before we go to commercial, we'll ask Chuck Bound if he thinks he can win on this Father's Day weekend.
Well, I think so. I'd love to win one on Father's Day. I was lucky enough live on TNN last year to win on Mother's Day and wish the mothers happy Mother's Day. So hopefully today we can do the same thing with Father's Day.
The Carolina Pride Budweiser 250 has been slowed by 12 cautions. We're getting set to go back to green flag once again. Let's take a look at the top 10 as we have them with some 69 laps to go in this race. Bobby Dotter, the leader, he passed to Chuck Bound when the yellow flag flew. Kenny Wallace is third. There you see the second 5. Jimmy Spencer up to 10th after being down 3 laps. He's very much in contention, a long way yet to go. They call him Mr. Excitement with good reason this afternoon.
I tell you what, he is Mr. Excitement. He's fun to watch.
Bobby Dotter in car 08, getting set to restart this. The banged up race car beside him is Steve Grissom, who lost a lap or 2 after he was involved in a yellow flag crash here along the front straightaway. Chuck Bound trying to dive underneath 2 cars there in turn 2. Almost got into Steve Grissom and Bobby Dotter, but hung on.
Got a serious situation here. You have cars wanting to make up laps and cars wanting to run for the lead right now. They'll sort it out in a few laps, but it's tough right now.
The Dirt Devil in-car camera. There's Kenny Wallace. Look out the front of his race car. He's in 3rd spot, just behind the lap car of Steve Grissom.
Look at the damage on Grissom's car, and that's still running just as well as the other car. So much for aerodynamics, huh?
I think determination and lack of wins will give you a 10th or 2 in this situation as well.
Got that right.
Chuck Bound looking for a place to pass Bobby Dotter. He had passed him a few laps ago, but when the yellow flag flew, Dotter broke the gentleman's agreement.
There we go. It's up there again. That's very impressive, man. It takes a strong car to pull on the inside and just clear a car going down the straightaway like that.
Second time this afternoon that Chuck Bound has been in the lead. Steve Grissom now side by side with Bobby Dotter, and there's Kenny Wallace trying to move up into second.
Man, I tell you, get on the outside here, you go from hero to nowhere.
Again, the in-car camera from Kenny Wallace's machine.
And I wish Steve Lucas worked his way all the way back up into this front 4 here.
Kenny Wallace does not want to look in his rearview mirror.
Bobby Labonte has moved himself right back into contention here.
And right behind Bobby Labonte, Jimmy Spencer. The bumper cam. There's Spencer running in the 4th position. He has just bypassed the Bobby Dotter machine. Dotter went from 1st to 5th. Jimmy Spencer's made up 3 laps in a determined charge to grab a victory this afternoon. 2 weeks ago, he seemingly had the race in hand in Rougemont, North Carolina. He crashed into 2 lap cars that had wrecked just in front of him. Nowhere to go, tough break for him. Look at him now go to work on car 44, Bobby Labonte.
Everybody in racing wants Dick Moroso to win a race, and Jimmy Spencer. They're both overdue.
It's been a long time since Dick Moroso has also visited Victory Lane. He won 6 races with his son Rob. Wallace got out of shape.
What in the world?
Spencer decided to go around both Bobby Labonte and Kenny Wallace. Just left him there like they were chained.
Little bumper tag there, but he just went right on.
Jimmy Spencer, and there's Bobby Labonte now going around Kenny Wallace, or at least trying to. It looks like he'll make it stick. He's moved up to 3rd. Chuck Bound, I think, may have his hands full because coming up, Jimmy Spencer from behind, the new number 2 man.
We have the yellow out again.
13th caution flag is out. Chuck Bound wins the race back to the yellow flag.
That's for Tom Peck. He spun around. He's back underway now, but they had to bring the yellow out.
So Tom Peck got that car up to speed just in front of leader Chuck Bound, so I don't believe he'll lose a lap. Peck has been running steady but unspectacular all afternoon, just enough to stay up there in the top 10 throughout most of this race.
Well, that's a lucky break for him that he didn't lose the lap.
We're going to take another quick break and come back to the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250 here at Myrtle Beach Speedway in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Getting set to go back to green. When we take the green flag, 55 laps to go. The Carolina Pride Budweiser 250 on the start. Chuck Bound really got out of there like somebody was trying to serve him a subpoena.
Oh, that's terrible for Jimmy Spencer. You know, he's only got high gear, and they did get the jump on him. Now he's got to try to fight his way by the 31 car.
So Steve Grissom wedged in between the leader, Chuck Bound, and the 2nd place car of Jimmy Spencer. Spencer was strong early on. He had a transmission problem, lost 3 laps, and has battled back into the number 2 spot.
Oh, there he goes. Watch out, Grissom. Little tap just to let him know I'm here.
Bobby Labonte trying to slide through the same open hole. Labonte still very much in contention as well. There's the Armor All bumper cam from the Chuck Bound car.
Oh, me, a little casual contact down the front straightaway there by Grissom and Bobby Labonte. I believe Bobby Labonte may be faster than Jimmy Spencer right at the moment.
Bobby Labonte is a very calculating driver. He always saves something for the end. And we're getting down to it. Still a long way to go. 51 laps. Bumper cam again from the Chuck Bound Nescafe car. Jimmy Spencer back there about 4 car lengths.
Man alive, and here comes Wallace up in there too. We're gonna have a real shootout. I'm telling you, these 4 cars are flying.
The Dirt Devil in-car camera with Kenny Wallace. There you are, looking out the front end of the Kenny Wallace Dirt Devil Pontiac.
You know, Neil and Mike Joy never told me how much fun they had on these short tracks. They got a new fan. I'm gonna be watching every week.
Down the front straightaway, Jimmy Spencer looks to take the lead from Chuck Bound. Bound up the racetrack, Bobby Labonte right there, so is Kenny Wallace. Good 4-car battle for the #1 spot. Jimmy Spencer has battled back from 3 laps down to the lead.
Up, we have a spin in #1 corner, and the leader's yellows out.
14th caution flag. John Linville in car 62 spins it around, heads back in the right direction. What can you say about what Jimmy Spencer has done this afternoon? Win, lose, or draw, he's put on a dramatic charge.
Jimmy Spencer always puts on a great driving job, and I tell you what, he's got company. There's a lot of guys do a great job on short tracks here.
Let's go down to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, thanks, Mark. I have crawled up on the trailer here talking with Mark Reno, who's the crew chief on Mr. Excitement, Jimmy Spencer's car. Have you ever seen anybody put on a show like this?
Well, it hasn't happened to our team this year. Jimmy got in the car 3 weeks ago, and I'd say the guy's pretty amazing. He's turned our team around big time.
Well, you've crawled up on top here because you still don't have high gear. He's done, I mean, still don't have anything but high gear.
Yeah, we early in the race, we lost 3 laps because it got hung in neutral, and we were able to come in on a pit stop and get it in 4th gear, but that's all we've got, so we're really hurting on the restarts. They beat up on us pretty bad on the starts.
Doesn't look like he's hurting anywhere else, though.
No, he's handling good. We got 50 laps to go, but we were leading with 15 to go last week and had a problem.
I have an idea this week might be a little different. Guys, I have never seen such excitement in a crew, from Mark Reno to the crew out there on the pit wall. These guys are pumped.
Jimmy Spencer will put a charge into a race team.
Absolutely, 100%.
There have been 9 lead changes among 7 drivers. The latest just moments ago when Jimmy Spencer, in that Daly's First Aid Oldsmobile, took the lead away from Chuck Bound. Bound has been drop kicked back to 3rd. Bobby Labonte just behind car 20. And car 44, that's the Slim Jim Chevrolet. He's currently 2nd. We haven't talked a whole lot about him, but he's been quiet all day, but he's been running near the front of the pack. He may be getting ready to make his move. We're getting set to go back to green on lap 204. 46 laps to go. Spencer trying to get a good jump on the start. Bobby Labonte right there, so is Chuck Bound.
It's very important for Spencer to stay in the lead, but I tell you, that's the only place he can start, dictate how fast they take off, so high gear really does not hurt him that bad. Woo, never check.
A little bit of hang 10 here.
Hang 10, boy.
Like dude surfing down here at the beach at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Spencer, the leader, car 20. Bobby Labonte's there. Chuck Bound hasn't given up the ghost. There's the spin. Bobby Dotter sliding and slamming into the wall in turn 1. That is yet caution flag number 15 on the afternoon. Here is Spencer, Labonte, and Bound.
Come on, Spencer.
They're dicing. Back to the
on,
yellow
Spencer.
flag.
Oh, my goodness. We got a little slamming going on.
Chuck Bound, after Bobby Labonte and Jimmy Spencer banged together, he actually led the cars across the stripe. Looks like he's back in the lead for the 3rd time today. There's the Team R Racing Bobby Dotter machine. Here's Dotter right behind car 36. That's Kenny Wallace. To his inside,
Jeff
car
Gordon
1.
right under him. They touched there. Okay, he spun him right around. That's a shame. He runs so well today.
Slapped the wall pretty hard there in turn 1 on the driver's side. Bobby Dotter, though, okay. Here's a look at it from a different angle. In the middle, Jeff
Gordon. Him there. He turns him right there. He didn't mean to do it. It's just one of those things. In the NEMA check. They get straightened up. That looks like an easy bump. That's a pretty serious hit anytime you hit on that left side.
Bobby Daughter, you can see out of his race car. Not very happy.
No, I would say he's thinking, Jeff, why? They just barely touched. And when you touch on a flat track like it, it'll turn the car right around.
We're 207 laps into this race. Daughter came into this race 16th in points. He already has a victory. Here's a replay now of that battle out of turn 4 under yellow. Spencer slowing down.
He slows down, and the 44 car comes up under. Now watch Spencer. Boom. He didn't know he was there. I guess I'm going a little sideways. Actually, he'll start back in third spot. Well, no.
Chuck Bound beats the 44 back to the line.
I don't know. NASCAR will have to sort this one out.
They all broke the gentleman's agreement. We'll be back with more live action here on TNN of the Busch Grand National Series from Myrtle Beach Speedway in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Barely back under green. Chuck Bound the leader in car 63. Here's Jimmy Spencer battling Bobby Labonte for second. Those two had a couple of little love taps during that yellow flag run to the start-finish line. The Armor All bumper cam from Chuck Bound the leader. Spencer moves into second.
That's the best thing that could have happened to Spencer. Get him a little rattled. He'll drive the wheels off that thing now.
Bobby Labonte is in third. Spencer now sets his sights on Chuck Bound.
I think Jimmy rather have it this way, a little more dramatic.
37 laps to go. Again, Jimmy Spencer has not won in 4 years. His last victory in 1989 came right here at Myrtle Beach. Here he is again taking a shot for the lead. He gets it. Chuck Bound quickly cuts down, looks back to the inside.
Now, I tell you, Jimmy's car is running extremely well up off the corner. Chuck got all the way back up under him, but he couldn't do anything with him off the corner. Watch this car scoot.
Chuck Bound losing some ground there. We see it out the front of that car on the Armor All in-car camera.
Oh, Jimbo. Chuck Bound spins.
Chuck Bound loops it, gets headed back in the right direction. I don't believe NASCAR is going to call for a caution flag. Here's Spencer down to the start-finish line, and that has moved him out to a 20-car length lead. There's Chuck Bound back in the middle of the pack now after that little altercation. Jimmy Spencer got a lot of clear racetrack in that melee. Bobby Labonte and Chuck Bound battling for second. Here's the replay.
Well, boy, let's see here. Oh, he got a little tap from Bobby Labonte. Bobby was able to squeeze by on the outside. And look at Jeff Gordon. You talk about a job of missing a car. Look at this. That's just reflexes. You can't teach that. That's born in a person to be able to avoid something like that.
I don't know how he could see to get by, how he could see to react, but he did a great job. Chuck Bound now back in 6th position. Right behind him, Ricky Craven and Tommy Houston. So Chuck Bound, just if it weren't for bad luck, he'd have no luck at all.
You think Chuck's a happy camper right at this moment?
I'd say that there's some percolating going on inside that Nescafe car right now. Maybe some of that coffee being brought to a boil.
I got to tell you, this race is not over by any means either. They've run Jimmy Spencer back down. Look at the 63 car here. He's beginning to wash out a little bit in the center of the corner. The car is not as good as it was. But Jimmy Spencer's pushing in the middle of the corner, and they're running them back down.
Kenny Wallace is the 3rd car in that line. The 2nd car is Bobby Labonte.
See the 20 car in the center of the corner. It'll wash up a little bit, and Bobby Labonte's pulling. Ooh, we have a wreck on the front straight away.
That's Mike Porter out of West Virginia. Yellow flag is out. Let's go down to Glenn Jarrett with Bobby Daughter.
Well, the cause of the last caution flag is this guy standing here. He wasn't the cause of it, the victim of it. You're running awfully good, but leading's not the place to be today, is it?
No, we had a car that's good enough to win the race today, and I got up front there, and it's just so hard to lead because the track's real on the loose side, and if someone just touches you, you slide up 2 lanes and 4 or 5 cars can go by you. And that's what happened. We got back there racing, and then we were lapping a slower car down the front stretch here, and I don't know what Jeff Gordon thought. He went between us, and just there wasn't room for 3 of us to go in the corner, and unfortunately I lost out.
Well, tough luck. Hope you have better luck next week, Bobby.
Yeah, it is, but we're running awful good. This team, our Oldsmobile's coming through.
Okay, guys.
Little something leaking from the front of the Mike Porter car. He brought out the 16th caution flag of the afternoon.
That was the trunk lid you seen hanging off that car. They stopped him down there to take it off. They wouldn't let him go on around the racetrack.
We now have a replay from the Armor All in-car camera from the Chuck Bound car, that last spin with Bobby Labonte.
Oh, you can see the debris.
Oh. Ooh, listen to the noise.
I hate that noise. That's a good sound, though, when they drive away.
He had that needle pigged on the old tachometer, getting out of there in a hurry. Tough break for Chuck Bound. He's lying back there now. We have him unofficially listed in the 6th position. Our top 4, Jimmy Spencer, Bobby Labonte, Kenny Wallace, and Tracy Leslie has hung in there all day in that Detroit gasket machine. He's riding 4th, and who knows what's going to happen here in the final 27 laps.
And Jeff Gordon dropped behind him. He's made up a lot of distance here. We're in for a good race yet.
The safety crews hooking up that Mike Porter car. See Mike walking around looking a little bit unhappy. Let's look at the top 10. 223 of 250 laps. Getting close to the finish of this, the 15th Busch Grand National Series race of 1992. There we are once again, the Dirt Devil in-car camera from the Kenny Wallace car, and still anybody's race.
Absolutely. While we're on this little break here, I want to wish all the fathers happy Father's Day, and especially my father, Buck Baker, down in Atlanta, Buck Baker's Driving School. Hey, Dad.
And for Glenn, I'll say hello to Ned, and I'll say hello to my father up there in Rutland, Vermont. Hi, Tom.
And
Dad, Pop, whatever.
Happy Wheeler and all the group.
That's
yeah,
right.
hey, Pops.
I hope I remembered to send a card. You know, you just reminded me. I hope I did that. You send your dad a card?
No, my dad's in Atlanta. He's got a driving school down there.
So you send flowers.
I'll see him Monday.
See him Monday. So we're under caution flag number 16. We've seen a lot of action today. We saw a lot of, you know, the slamming and banging, and then some great racing from the back of the pack. Jimmy Spencer, just a great job. If he can hold on to win this race, it will be one of the more dramatic finishes for victory in this series history after it was born here in 1982.
I tell you what, you guys have been holding back on me. I didn't know short track racing was this exciting. I tell you what. This isn't a job. This is fun for me. I've really enjoyed today.
We're going to take a look now at a caution flag. There was 2 caution flags ago from the Dirt Devil in-car camera. Here's the Bobby Daughter spin. Real speed, real sound.
Right here, they touch. That's ugly, wasn't it?
If you're Bobby Daughter, it's really ugly.
Woo.
I tell you what, those in-car cameras, the shots we've got this afternoon have just been super.
When you see metal flying before they ever get to the wall, that's an ugly sight.
25 laps to go in this race. Kenny Wallace waving to us. Do you think he was waving to you, as a matter of fact?
No, I don't think so.
Don't think so?
No, I think Kenny Wallace is down to business now. He run a heads-up race today.
Now, Jimmy Spencer has certainly been more spectacular this afternoon, but Bobby Labonte and Kenny Wallace have hung in there through thick and thin, and they're still very much in contention. Quick rundown that we just have. Again, Jimmy Spencer, Bobby Labonte, Kenny Wallace, Tracy Leslie is 4th, 5th is Jeff Gordon, 6th is Chuck Bound, 7th is Ricky Craven, 8th is Tommy Houston. Those cars on the lead lap, -1, Steve Grissom, Ward Burton, and Tom Peck. Then -2, Steve Grissom, along with Jack Sprague and John Linville. -3, Todd Bodine, Richard Lassiter, and then right behind them, Butch Miller.
Yeah, Butch Miller's had a terrible day. He's been in the pits about as much as he's been on the racetrack.
226 laps on the board, 24 to go as we continue under yellow. here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. This is race number 15 for the 1992 season. Watkins Glen next week is race number 16. TNN again will have live flag-to-flag coverage at 2 p.m. Eastern next Saturday afternoon from Watkins Glen, New York. It's the Phase 150 at Busch Grand National Series event coming up on TNN. Want to remind everybody, too, that on Thursday night in Elmira, New York, it'll be the Busch Grand National NASCAR Stars against the IMSA drivers in a softball game. Begins at 7:30 p.m. in Elmira, New York. Have a note here that Steve Grissom's the third baseman.
Why not?
The way a couple of times this afternoon, it looks like he's played catcher.
Yeah, he could play any position he wanted to with his size.
I understand Richard Lassiter and Steve Grissom are the power hitters there. And Chuck Bound is going to be the rubber-armed, spaghetti-armed pitcher trying to shut him down in Elmira, New York.
Yeah, he looks a little bit like Raleigh Fingers, don't you think?
Without the mustache now. We're still under yellow as they clean up the Mike Porter wreck that happened down to turn 1. Actually, here along the front straightaway, a lot of fluid down there and a lot of debris, and they're trying to get that cleared up before we go back to racing. It'll be a short shootout, which I guess that's pretty apropos for a short track race. This is how they get it done every Saturday night all around America. Short, sweet, and to the point.
You know, I usually try to pick a favorite in a race, but I don't have one here. I like all these guys. They're nice young men, every one of them, and they're great drivers.
Kenny Wallace weaving that car back and forth. He's looking for his second victory of 1992. His lone win this year came in Martinsville, Virginia. At Myrtle Beach, he's had a couple of pretty good runs. Third in 1990, fourth in 1991. Kenny Wallace has been pretty consistent on this half-mile racetrack.
Look at that gear lever jumping back and forth in there. I think that's vibrating a little bit. That's under acceleration. Watch it.
There's car 51, Eddie Goodson. Goodson has only run here one time before, has done a nice job. He's there in the top 10. Myrtle Beach finishes 31st in 1991. He's going to improve a whole lot on that this afternoon.
Yeah, before we get back, I want to say something. We want Michael Waltrip to be we read this morning he had a wreck up in Michigan. We certainly hope that he recovers and is able to run tomorrow.
Apparently a little bit of a busted nose. That's the unofficial word we get. Ben Hess requalified his car in second round and popped the wall. Not a whole lot of damage to Mike's car, but he will start dead last there on Sunday at Miller Genuine Draft 400 in Brooklyn, Michigan. Davey Allison on the pole after setting a brand new track record, nearly 2 miles per hour faster than the outside pole sitter Mark Martin. You get the idea that Davey Allison thinks he owns Michigan. First and second last year, now this.
I tell you, he's tough. He is tough.
Kenny Wallace doing a little bit of gesturing to the car right behind him. That's Tracy Leslie in the 4th spot. Just ahead of him, you see the Slim Jim machine of Bobby Labonte. There's Jimmy Spencer, car 20, the leader. Battled back from 3 laps down. Beside him, the lap car of Butch Miller, car 75.
He's trying to hold him down and drop him back. Now he's starting to accelerate. He's going to have a hard time on these restarts because he's only got high gear.
Green flag is back out. There are 19 laps to go. Spencer with the Butch Miller car in between him and the number 2 man, Bobby Labonte. There's Labonte and Kenny Wallace battling for second spot and the chance to go after the lead and Jimmy Spencer. Trouble in turn 4. Jack Sprague gets turned around. Eddie Goodson does. We gave him apparently the kiss of bad luck. He refires his car. Here's Spencer racing back to the start-finish line.
I bet he races all the way back this time after having to start in third on the last time he backed off and everybody passed him.
That's caution flag number 17 on lap 233. Jack Sprague, the Staff America Chevrolet. Big problems. Here's a replay. Had a tire going down.
Yeah.
Left rear.
Oh.
Ward Burton caught him going by. Chuck Bound just snuck by on the outside.
In the 51 car, he just spun out. I mean, he's seen the problem up there, and he decided he'd be better off just turning her around.
About that time, it was uh-oh.
Uh-oh, what do I do now? Lock the brake?
turn left.
He did the right thing. He didn't hit anything.
Carson still one piece. Good run today for Eddie Goodson. You know, some of these guys in the back of the pack trying to gain experience. All they can do is keep making laps. Chuck Bound, problem, right front tire.
Looked like a bulldog had hold of that front fender there.
Let's go down to Glenn Jarrett.
Brings the Nescafe Pontiac in for right side tire changes. As you said, he's got a problem on that right front. There was debris all over the racetrack down here coming off of turn 4 where those two cars collided. They also made a chassis adjustment. They figured, well, there's only 11 cars in the lead lap. We might as well take a chance. We think we can pass all these guys back, or at least get back to where they were, past 5 cars to get back to 6. So they're going to make that gamble, hope it can carry them further up in the pack.
Chuck Bound getting the go sign from the NASCAR official. There's the debris on the racetrack. Crew quickly throwing that in the back of the truck. 234 laps, 16 laps to go. There's the Eddie Goodson car on pit road. A little bit of damage there, a little bit of bumper flapping in the breeze.
They call that valence problems anymore. That's not the front bumper any longer. It's the valence.
The valence?
Yes.
Oh.
Everything is very technical anymore.
I didn't know. I thought parts was parts.
Just behind there's a metal bar big enough to knock a train off the track.
We're getting set to go back to green flag action as Jack Sprague's car gets the black flag again. Todd Bodine's car, a lot of damage to the right side of that machine. Clyde McLeod, the crew chief there, and the rest of the crew seeing what they can do. There's car owner Frank Cece peeking in on the driver's side. Todd's going, give me something cold to drink since I'm waiting. Frank Cece was the car owner for Jimmy Spencer when he won here in 1989.
Yeah, I tell you, Todd's done a great job in the car also since he got since Spencer got out of it. But Spencer today, he just drove like a wild man all day. He's done a great job.
He's looking to hold on for 14 more laps. 1 lap to go. We'll go back to green. On the green flag, when the light turns, there will be 13 laps to go. Just good old-fashioned Saturday night bull ring racing.
Oh, me. Did you say 13?
13.
Lucky 13,
Lucky.
maybe?
Jack Sprague, some repairs to that car. He's back out onto the racetrack. Here they are stacking up behind the pace car. Jimmy Spencer, Bobby Labonte, Kenny Wallace, the top 3. Then it's Tracy Leslie, Jeff Burton, Ward Burton, Ricky Craven, Tommy Houston, Tom Peck, and then Chuck Bound in the 11th spot. Those cars on the lead lap. Here's Butch Miller trying to get back on the lead lap. Again, Spencer has only high gear, so the restart's just a little bit slower for him than some of the other guys.
That'll be a break for Bobby Labonte if he can get under the 75 car right now. That gives him a clean racetrack to try to catch up to Spencer.
Kenny Wallace clears the lapped car as well. Down to the line. 12 laps to go. In car, the Kenny Wallace Dirt Devil Pontiac.
Car's handling very well. Look how still that steering wheel is through the corner.
It's running well, but is it running strong enough to get by Bobby Labonte and get after Jimmy Spencer? Time is running out. Back once again into turn 1. This crowd at Myrtle Beach Speedway is not using their seats anymore. They are standing up. No telling what will happen. We've had a wild afternoon here on TNN Motorsports.
I can tell you that catching Jimmy Spencer will be easier than passing him.
I'd rather take a bone away from a junkyard dog. 10 laps to go. Jimmy Spencer out front. Bobby Labonte and Kenny Wallace slowly slipping back. They're running out of time. If they've got an ace to pull off the bottom of the deck, they better do it in a hurry.
Yeah, they're running out of laps, but I tell you, anything can happen on a short track. One slip and they're buying.
2 weeks ago, the fat lady was whimpering up to give a few notes for Jimmy Spencer. When he crashed, she's probably starting to do a little bit of vocal stretching right now, but still waiting to sing here on the checkered flag, which will come in 8 laps.
I got news for you. Bobby Labonte knows it. Look at him come right back up on Spencer.
Bobby Labonte as they work around Bobby Dotter's 08 car and Jeff Green in car number 16. Bobby Labonte starts to close in. He told me one time, buddy, he prides himself on being able to gain 1 or 2 positions in the closing laps just by getting up there and gritting his teeth and climbing on that steering wheel.
Well, we'll see if he's telling you the truth. He don't need but one.
Bobby Labonte and Jimmy Spencer battling in the closing stages of the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250. Live TNN action coming from the Myrtle Beach Speedway. There is Labonte. He reaches the back bumper of Jimmy Spencer's car. Across the stripe, 6 laps to go.
Man, what a race. Look at this.
There's Kenny Wallace climbing back into the fray.
Spencer's being real careful right now, but Bobby Labonte is actually running a little bit faster in the corners than Jimmy is.
Labonte just a tad lower. Flashing across the start-finish line. Once again, 245 down, 5 to go. Trying to work by that slower car. Spencer uses it as a pick. That's the Richard Lassiter car. Oh.
Look at Tracy Leslie. He's running here on all of them now.
4 cars battling for the lead with 4 laps to go. Jimmy Spencer, Bobby Labonte, Kenny Wallace, and Tracy Leslie.
Wow, I'm going to tell you what, Tracy Leslie is fastest car on the racetrack right now, but I'm afraid he's going to run out of laps.
As they scoot across the stripe this time, 3 laps to go. Jimmy Spencer came from 3 laps down to hold the lead with 3 laps to go. Right now, he's got his fingernails on the cliff, and he's holding on for dear life.
This is white knuckle time here, and you hope the guys behind you are not going to turn you around.
Bobby Labonte once again reaches the back bumper of Jimmy Spencer. 2 laps to go.
This lap car maker.
Car length, and his crew, as you might expect, goes crazy on pit road. Labonte nicked the wall in turn 1. As he crossed the start-finish line, a valiant effort at the end. Bobby Labonte suckering Jimmy Spencer. I'm going inside, and when it came down, he went for the outside, didn't make it. But they're very happy. Jimmy Spencer wins the race today, the 35-year-old out of Berwick, Pennsylvania. It's his 5th career BGN win, his 1st since 1989. That last victory came right here at Myrtle Beach Speedway. We're going to take a quick break and come back and talk to Jimmy Spencer. We'll have more again from the Myrtle Beach Speedway in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We're coming right back. Today's TNN coverage of the Carolina Pride Budweiser 250 has been brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. And by Texaco, official sponsor of the 1992 U.S. Olympic team. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett and Victory Lane with Jimmy Spencer.
Well, thank you, Mark Garrow. Now, I've tried to remain an impartial observer all these times when I see you guys, but that might be the best job I've ever seen. What a show.
Thanks, Glenn. I really appreciate that. You know, the Daly's first aid car we felt we had a car that could win the race, you know, and shifter broke. We lost 3 laps. I can't believe we made them all up. The guys drove like gentlemen. I just thank the Lord that he pulled me through and we won this race.
Did you ever, at any time early on, did you ever give up and say, well, it's just going to be another bad day?
Never is in my, never and never is not in my vocabulary. I mean, I always feel I can do it, you know, and 3 laps down that early in the race, we could make it up, and the crew had a lot of confidence. The Daly's first aid car just hauled the tail all night long, and, you know, I can run another 100 laps if I have to, so I'm really happy. You know, Dick Moroz has given me the opportunity to get it in front with a top-notch team, there's no doubt. Mark Reno and Dwayne and John and all the guys did a fantastic job, and we'll be back in the winner's circle again sometime soon.
Congratulations again, Jimmy. I can't for the life of me understand why they call this guy Mr. Excitement. Here is Dick Moroso, the car owner. We had a little conversation early this morning, and I told Dick that, I said, Dick, I think you did the right thing. Looks like it turned out a lot quicker than even we thought.
Well, we're real happy, and you know, I have a lot of people to thank for this because it's been a tough year, and Daly's first aid has stuck with us, and we promised them we'd do good, and we have. My crew's been taking a lot of adversity, and you know, this is the first race we ever won. Was first Busch race was here at Myrtle Beach, and maybe we're back on track.
Well, we hope so. We are certainly happy for you, Dick. Thank you, Mark Garrow.
Dick Moroso, very emotional because that victory came with his late son, Rob Moroso. That's his first victory as a team owner with another driver. There is our look at the unofficial results. Top 5, Jimmy Spencer, the winner, his 4th career BGN win. Great run for Tracy Leslie, he was 4th. The next 5, 6 through 10, Tom Peck battled back to 6th, a good run for him. 11 through 15, Steve Grissom led this race early, trying to win his first race of 1992. Came up with for knots. Jack Sprague 15th. Butch Miller leads off the next 5. 21st spot goes to Jeff Burton. Robert Presley going for 3 in a row, doesn't get it. He winds up 25th. There you see the rest of the field here this afternoon from Myrtle Beach Speedway. That's it for this afternoon's coverage. Don't forget to join us next week from Watkins Glen, New York, Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock. More BGN action here on TNN. For Glenn Jarrett and Buddy Baker, I'm saying so long. I'm Mark Arrow saying so long from Myrtle Beach Speedway, where Jimmy Spencer has grabbed the win.